Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the U.E.'s Liberty and looked at the stars through the main window. After 6 months of traveling through space, he still felt amazed by how beautiful and endless the universe looked. The Liberty was humanity's first ship to travel this far from Earth. They were now near Proxima Centauri, the closest star to their home planet. "Captain, we are getting close to the planet," said Navigator Amy Stevens from her station. She was a young woman with bright eyes who never seemed to get tired of exploring space. "The scanners show it might have water." Jake nodded and walked over to look at her screen. The planet looked blue and green, just like Earth. "Dr. Parker, what do you think?" Dr. Lisa Parker looked up from her computer. She was the ship's expert on alien life. For months, she had been hoping to find signs of life on other worlds. "The readings look very good, Captain. This planet could support life. We should get closer and run more tests." The Liberty moved slowly toward the planet. The ship was huge, carrying 200 people who had volunteered for this dangerous mission. Most of them were scientists, engineers, and explorers who wanted to learn about space. Chief Engineer Ryan Cole was in the engine room, making sure everything worked perfectly. Security Chief Ben Tucker was checking the ship's defenses, though. No one expected to need them. "Captain, I am picking up something strange," Amy said, her voice suddenly worried. She was looking at her instruments with a confused expression. "There are objects moving toward us. They are big and moving very fast." Jake felt his stomach tighten. "Put it on the main screen." The image that appeared made everyone on the bridge stop breathing. 5 massive ships were coming toward them. The ships were dark and had a shape that no human had ever seen before. They were covered in sharp edges and glowing lights. They looked like they were built for war. "Those are not human ships," Dr. Parker whispered. She was staring at the screen with wide eyes. "Captain, I think we just found alien life." Jake quickly pressed the button to talk to the whole ship. "All crew, this is the captain. We have contact with unknown ships. Go to your emergency stations right now." The bridge became busy as everyone started working. Amy tried to figure out how fast the alien ships were moving. Dr. Parker started recording everything with her cameras. Jake tried to think about what to do. This was the moment humans had dreamed about for hundreds of years, but something felt very wrong. "Try to contact them," Jake ordered. "Send them our peaceful greeting message." Amy sent out radio signals in many different ways. She used mathematics, pictures, and sounds that scientists on Earth had prepared for this moment. The message was simple. Humans came in peace and wanted to be friends. The alien ships did not respond. Instead, they moved into attack formation around the Liberty. Jake could see weapons pointing at his ship. "Captain, they are charging their weapons," Ben Tucker reported from his security station. His hands were moving quickly over the controls. "Our shields are up, but I do not think they will stop much." Without any warning, the alien ships opened fire. Bright beams of energy hit the Liberty from all sides. The ship shook violently. Lights went out. People screamed. Jake was thrown against his chair as the ship spun out of control. "Ryan? I need engines now." Jake shouted into his communicator. "I am trying, Captain." Ryan's voice came back full of static. "They hit the main power. I can give you emergency power only." More energy beams hit the ship. The hull started to break apart. Jake watched in horror as sections of his ship were torn away. Good people, friends he had known for years, were dying. "Dr. Parker, send a message to Earth right now," Jake ordered. "Tell them what happened here." Lisa's fingers flew over her keyboard. She was crying, but she kept working. "Message sent, Captain. Earth will know about this." The attack continued for 10 more minutes. When it finally stopped, the Liberty was barely flying. Most of the crew was dead. Jake looked around the bridge and saw that only Amy and Ben were still alive with him. Dr. Parker was hurt but breathing. Suddenly, new ships appeared. These were different from the attack ships. They were larger and had bright lights. Jake realized these must be prisoner ships. A voice came through the Liberty's damaged speakers. It spoke in perfect English, which shocked everyone. "Human ship, you have entered Zephyrian space without permission. You are now prisoners of the Zephyrian Empire. Prepare to be boarded." Jake felt angry and afraid at the same time. "How do you know our language?" "We have been watching your world for many years," the voice replied. "Your species is dangerous. You expand too quickly. You ask too many questions. You will be judged." Alien soldiers came aboard the Liberty. They were tall and thin with gray skin and large black eyes. They wore armor that looked like it was made from metal and crystal. They moved through the ship and gathered the surviving humans. Jake counted only 47 people left alive from his crew of 200. Ryan Cole was there, his uniform torn and dirty. Amy Stevens was holding her injured arm. Ben Tucker had blood on his face, but was still trying to protect the others. As they were taken to the alien prison ship, Jake looked back at the Liberty one last time. The ship that had carried humanity's dreams was now broken and floating dead in space. But Jake made himself a promise. Somehow, some way, he would make sure Earth knew what happened here. And he would make sure the aliens paid for what they had done. The prison ship's doors closed, and the Liberty disappeared behind them. Jake did not know it yet, but this was just the beginning of a war that would decide the future of all humanity. 6 months had passed since the Liberty disappeared. On Earth, people waited for news from the deep space mission. Families hoped their loved ones would come home with stories of new worlds and amazing discoveries. Instead, they got Dr. Lisa Parker's final message. The message arrived at the Global Space Command Center in Houston. Director Maria Rodriguez was drinking coffee when the alert came through. She nearly dropped her cup when she heard Lisa's voice, full of fear and static. "This is Dr. Parker aboard the Liberty. We are under attack by alien ships. They destroyed most of our crew. They speak English. They have been watching us. Captain Morrison is alive. Tell Earth to be ready. They said we are dangerous. They said." The message cut off. Maria immediately called President Catherine Lewis. Within 2 hours, every world leader was in an emergency meeting. The news was too big and too scary to keep secret. For the first time in human history, they had proof that aliens existed. And those aliens had killed humans. 3 days later, Earth received another message. This one was different. It came from space, directly to every radio and television on the planet. Everyone stopped what they were doing to listen. The voice was cold and strange. It sounded like it came from a machine, but there was intelligence behind it. "People of Earth, I am Fleet Admiral Crixton of the Zephyrian Empire. Your ship entered our space without permission. Your crew has been captured for questioning. We have been watching your planet for 50 of your years. We have learned your languages. We have seen how you behave. Your species is growing too. Fast. You build weapons. You fight wars. You spread across space like a disease. This cannot continue." President Lewis sat in the White House Situation Room with her top advisors. Everyone was quiet as the alien continued speaking. "You will follow these rules or face total destruction. First, you will stop all space travel beyond your moon. Second, you will destroy all weapons that can reach space. Third, you will never try to contact other worlds. Any violation of these rules will result in the complete elimination of your planet. You have 1 of your years to comply. We are watching. We are waiting. Do not test our patience." The message ended, leaving Earth in silence. Dr. Alex Morgan was the world's best expert on space technology. He was called to Washington immediately. President Lewis needed to know if the aliens could really do what they threatened. "Madam President," Alex said after studying the alien message, "based on what they showed us, yes, they can destroy Earth. The energy readings from their ships are beyond anything we have. If they wanted to attack us right now, we could not stop them. So we have no choice?" President Lewis asked. "There is always a choice," Alex replied. "But we need time to prepare. And we need to decide what kind of people we want to be." The world had never faced a decision like this before. Stop exploring space and live as prisoners on their own planet, or refuse and risk extinction. Countries that had been enemies for years started working together. The threat from space made human differences seem very small. Meanwhile, in a prison facility on a distant moon, Captain Jake Morrison and his surviving crew were learning about their captors. The Zephyrian guards were tall and thin, with gray skin and large black eyes. They wore armor that seemed to be alive, changing color based on their moods. Jake shared a cell with Ryan Cole and Ben Tucker. Amy Stevens and Dr. Parker were in the women's section. Every day, the aliens took prisoners away for questioning. Some came back. Others did not. "They want to know about Earth's defenses," Ryan whispered during their exercise time. "They asked me about our weapons, our ships, our military bases. I told them nothing," Ben added. "But Jake, they already know a lot. They have been spying on us for decades." During his own questioning, Jake met other prisoners. There were beings from different worlds, all captured by the Zephyrians. A creature that looked like a walking tree told Jake through a translator device that the Zephyrians had destroyed 3 civilizations in the past 100 years. "They fear progress," the tree being said. "Any species that grows too smart or too curious becomes a threat. They crush hope before it can bloom." Jake learned that the Zephyrians ruled a large part of the galaxy through fear. They had the strongest weapons and the biggest ships. Other alien species either served them or hid from them. None had ever fought back and won. But Jake also learned something important. The tree being and others whispered about resistance groups on different worlds. Small groups of aliens who still hoped for freedom. They were waiting for someone brave enough to start a real fight. Back on Earth, the year deadline was getting closer. President Lewis called for a vote at the United Nations. Every country would decide together, surrender to the aliens or fight. Dr. Morgan had been working day and night with scientists from every nation. They studied the damaged pieces of the Liberty that had fallen to Earth. Slowly, they began to understand alien technology. "It is amazing," Alex told the president. "Their energy systems are centuries ahead of ours, but they are not magic. If we can understand how they work, we can build defenses, maybe even weapons." The day of the vote arrived. Representatives from 195 countries gathered in New York. The decision would affect every human being who ever lived or would live. President Lewis spoke first. "We face a choice that will define our species forever. Do we surrender our dreams and live as prisoners? Or do we stand up for the right of all thinking beings to explore, to learn, and to grow? The aliens think we are dangerous because we ask questions and seek new horizons. They are right. We are dangerous to tyrants and bullies. We are dangerous to those who would cage the human spirit." The vote was unanimous. Every country chose to resist. President Lewis stood before cameras that broadcast to the entire world. She looked directly into the camera and spoke words that would be remembered forever. "To Fleet Admiral Crix Dan and the Zephyrian Empire, this is President Catherine Lewis speaking for all humanity. We reject your ultimatum. We will not surrender our freedom to explore the stars. We will not destroy our ability to defend ourselves. We will not bow to threats. If you want to stop humanity from reaching for the stars, you will have to destroy us. And we warn you, we will not die quietly. We will fight with everything we have. And if we fall, others will remember our example and continue the fight. You say we are dangerous. You are about to find out how right you are. The message was sent into space. Earth had chosen war over slavery. The countdown to humanity's greatest test had begun. President Lewis's message reached every corner of Earth within hours. In cities and small towns, people gathered around televisions and radios. Some cried, others cheered. All of them understood that their world had just changed forever. The reaction from space came faster than anyone expected. Just 2 days after Earth's defiance message, the aliens struck their first blow. Luna Base, humanity's largest research station on the moon, simply disappeared in a flash of light. 500 scientists and workers died instantly. Dr. Alex Morgan watched the attack through telescopes from Earth. The alien weapon turned Luna Base into glowing dust in 3 seconds. They wanted to show us what they can do, he told President Lewis. This was just a warning shot. But instead of making humans afraid, the attack made them angry. Countries that had been enemies for generations started sharing their best technology. Russia gave nuclear secrets to America. China shared computer designs with Europe. Every nation opened their research files to help build Earth's defenses. Dr. Morgan found himself leading Project Guardian, the biggest scientific effort in human history. He worked with Dr. Sam Foster, a brilliant physicist from Canada, and Michelle Adams, an engineer who could build anything she could imagine. We need to understand their technology, Alex told his team. The pieces that fell from the Liberty are only clues. Working 18 hours every day, the team slowly learned how alien energy shields worked. The Zephyrian technology used a field that could stop both bullets and energy beams. But Alex discovered something important. The shields needed enormous amounts of power. If we can overload their power systems, the shields will fail, he explained to Admiral Kevin Barnes, who was building Earth's first real warship. Admiral Barnes was a tough man who had commanded ships in Earth's oceans for 30 years. Now, he was learning to command ships in space. How long do we have, Doctor? The alien said one year. We have been working for 4 months. That gives us 8 months to build weapons that can fight ships centuries ahead of us. The UE's Defender was being built in space above Earth. It was the size of a city block and carried weapons that had never been tested. The ship used both human engineering and copied alien technology. Thousands of workers volunteered to help build it, even though everyone knew it might not be enough. Meanwhile, on the alien prison moon, Captain Jake Morrison was planning something impossible. He wanted to escape from a prison that had held aliens for hundreds of years. You are crazy, whispered Vextal, a creature that looked like a giant insect. She had been a prisoner for 20 years. No one escapes from here. The guards have weapons that can kill you before you can move. Maybe, Jake said. But I learned something about humans that you aliens do not understand. We do our best work when things look impossible. Jake had been studying the prison for months. He noticed that the guards were lazy. They thought their prisoners were too scared to try anything. The aliens had been ruling through fear for so long that they forgot some species would rather die fighting than live as slaves. Ryan Cole had been fixing things around the prison. The guards liked having a human engineer who could repair their equipment. This gave Ryan access to areas other prisoners never saw. Jake, I found the power station, he whispered during exercise time. If we can shut it down for just 5 minutes, the cell doors will open. Ben Tucker had been watching the guard schedules. There is a 10-minute gap every night when only 2 guards watch our section. That is our chance. Dr. Parker had been learning alien languages from other prisoners. I can read their computer systems now, she told Jake. I know where they keep the escape ships. Amy Stevens had been mapping the prison from her cell window. I know the way to the ship hangar. But Jake, even if we escape, where can we go? Earth is months away, and we do not have a map. We are going home, Jake said firmly, and we are taking friends with us. Jake had been talking to other prisoners from different worlds. Many of them hated the Zephyrians as much as humans did. Some had useful skills. Others had information about Zephyrian weaknesses. The night of the escape, everything went according to plan. Rian shut down the power. The cell doors opened. Ben knocked out the 2 guards before they could sound an alarm. Dr. Parker used the alien computers to unlock the hangar doors. Amy led 47 humans and 23 alien prisoners through dark corridors to the ship hangar. They found 3 small Zephyrian scout ships. Jake had learned to pilot one during his questioning sessions by watching the guards. The ships were fast and had enough supplies for a long journey. Split into 3 groups, Jake ordered. Amy, take 1 ship and head for the Andromeda system. Ben, take the 2nd ship and go toward Vega. I will take the 3rd ship and go home to Earth. If any of us make it, we can warn others about what the Zephyrians are planning. As they prepared to leave, Vextal grabbed Jake's arm with one of her insect claws. Human Jake, there is something you must know. The Zephyrians have a weakness. Their ships are controlled by central computers. If you can virus attack the main computer, all their ships in a battle group will stop working. Jake smiled. We humans are very good with computer viruses. Thank you, friend. The 3 ships launched into space just as alarms began ringing throughout. The prison. Jake looked back at the facility and felt sad for the prisoners they had to leave behind. But now he had hope. Earth would learn about Zephyrian weaknesses. And more importantly, other alien species would learn that someone was finally fighting back. The escape was discovered within an hour. Admiral Crixton was furious when he received the report. Humans are even more dangerous than we thought, he told his officers. They inspire others to rebel. We cannot let this continue. Send a message to the fleet, Crixton ordered. Prepare for the 2nd strike against Earth. Destroy their Mars colony. Show them what happens when they defy the Empire. But something had changed in the galaxy. Word of the human escape spread quickly among the hidden resistance groups on different worlds. For the first time in hundreds of years, someone had successfully fought back against the Zephyrians. On Earth, Dr. Morgan's team had finished their first shield generator. It was small and could only protect 1 building, but it worked. They had also built their first energy cannon, copied from Zephyrian designs, but powered by human nuclear reactors. We are not ready for a full war, Alex told President Lewis. But we are not helpless anymore. Admiral Barnes stood on the bridge of the UE Sivender as it completed its final tests. The ship was not as advanced as Zephyrian vessels, but it was built with human determination and creativity. It carried the hopes of an entire species. Admiral, his communications officer reported, we are receiving a signal from space. It is ... It is Captain Morrison. Barnes grabbed the microphone. Jake? Jake Morrison? Is that really you? Jake's voice came through clearly. Admiral Barnes, this is Captain Morrison. I am coming home, and I am bringing friends. Earth is about to face another attack. But I have information that can help us win. The Zephyrians can be beaten. I know how. As Jake's stolen ship approached Earth, carrying vital intelligence about their enemies, humanity prepared for its greatest test. Second strike was coming, but this time they would be ready to strike back. The war for humanity's freedom was about to begin. Captain Jake Morrison's stolen Zephyrian ship approached Earth like a messenger, carrying both hope and terrible news. In the 8 months since Luna Base was destroyed, Earth had transformed into something the aliens had never seen before. Huh? United World preparing for war. Admiral Barnes met Jake at the orbital dock. The two men embraced, but Jake's face was grim. Admiral, we have maybe days before they attack again. This time it will be worse. In the emergency briefing room, Jake faced President Lewis, Dr. Morgan, and Earth's top military leaders. His surviving crew members sat beside him. Ryan Cole, Amy Stevens, Ben Tucker, and Dr. Parker. They all looked older and harder than when they had left Earth years ago. The Zephyrians are planning to destroy Mars Colony Beta, Jake began. They want to kill 10,000 people to make their point. But I learned something important during our escape. Their technology has a weakness. Vextal, the insect-like alien who had escaped with them, stepped forward. Through a translator device, she spoke in clicking sounds that became English words. Zephyrian ships are controlled by central computers. If you can send a virus to the main computer, all ships in a battle group will stop working for several minutes. Dr. Morgan leaned forward excitedly. A computer virus? We can do that. But how do we get close enough to send it? That is the hard part, Jake replied. Someone has to get within communication range of their command ship. It is suicide mission. The room fell silent. Everyone understood what Jake meant. To save Mars Colony, someone would have to fly directly at the alien fleet with no chance of survival. 2 days later, the Zephyrian attack fleet arrived at Mars. Admiral Crixton commanded 20 massive warships, more than enough to destroy the human colony. But as his ships approached the Red Planet, he received an unexpected message. Alien fleet, this is Mars Colony Beta, came a voice from the planet's surface. We know you are here to kill us, but we want you to know something first. We are not afraid of you anymore. The voice belonged to Colony Director Paul Jackson, a farmer from Iowa who had volunteered to lead 10,000 brave souls to a new world. You think you can scare humanity into giving up our dreams. You are wrong. Even if you kill us all today, others will take our place tomorrow. Crixton was annoyed by the human's words. Destroy the colony, he ordered his weapons officer. Make it quick. But as the alien ships charged their weapons, something unexpected happened. 3 human ships appeared from behind Mars's moon. They were small and fast, built for speed rather than fighting. Admiral Barnes commanded them from the U.S. Defender. All ships, execute Operation Longshot, Barnes commanded. Remember, we only need to get one ship close enough. The human ships raced toward the alien fleet. The Zephyrians laughed at first. 3 tiny ships against 20 massive warships seemed like a joke. But as the humans got closer, the aliens realized this was not a normal attack. Jake Morrison piloted the fastest human ship, the U.S. Freedom. In his computer was the virus that Vextal had helped Dr. Morgan create. Ryan, how close do we need to get? Ryan Cole, now serving as Jake's engineer again, watched his instruments carefully. 1,000 kilometers, Captain. Any closer and they will shoot us before we can transmit. The alien ships opened fire. Energy beams lit up space around the human vessels. The first human ship exploded immediately. The second ship lasted 30 seconds before its shields failed. Jake, you are the last one, Admiral Barnes radioed. Get in there and send that virus. Jake pushed his ship's engines beyond their limits. The Freedom shook as alien weapons missed by meters. Behind him, the U.S. Defender was fighting a desperate battle to distract the alien fleet. 900 kilometers, Ryan called out. 800, 700. A massive energy beam struck the Freedom's port side. Half the ship's systems shut down. We are losing power, Amy reported from her navigator station. We will not make it. But Jake had an idea. Ryan, Can you overload our nuclear reactor? That will destroy us, Ryan said. I know. But if we explode close enough to their command ship, the electromagnetic pulse might carry our virus signal. Ryan understood immediately. You are crazy, Captain. I like it. As the Freedom limped toward the alien command ship, Jake sent a final message to Earth. Tell my family I died fighting for humanity's future. The Freedom exploded in a brilliant flash just 800 meters from Crixdon's flagship. The explosion was not big enough to damage the alien ship, but the electromagnetic pulse carried Dr. Morgan's virus directly into the Zephyrian computer systems. For 3 minutes, 20 alien warships floated helplessly in space. Their weapons, shields, and engines all shut down as the virus spread through their networks. Now, Admiral Barnes shouted. All ships attack. The U's Defender and hidden human ships throughout the Mars system opened fire. They had been waiting for this moment, using Mars's moons and asteroids as cover. The alien ships, caught completely by surprise, tried desperately to restart their systems. Colony Director Jackson watched from Mars's surface as human weapons struck alien shields. All colonists, this is Paul. Get to the underground shelters now. Our boys are giving them hell up there. Lieutenant Sarah Bell, Jackson's security chief, organized the evacuation. 3,000 colonists made it to safety before the alien. Ships recovered from the virus attack. When the Zephyrian systems came back online, Crixton was furious. Half his fleet had taken damage. Worse, the humans had shown that Zephyrian technology could be defeated. Destroy everything, Crixton ordered. The colony, their ships, everything. The battle raged for 2 hours. The U's Defender was destroyed, taking Admiral Barnes and 800 crew members with it. But the human sacrifice was not in vain. The virus attack had given Earth's forces time to save 7,000 colonists and gather crucial information about alien battle tactics. When the fighting ended, Mars Colony Beta was gone. But humanity had achieved something more important than saving buildings. They had proven that humans could fight back and win battles against superior technology. The news of Jake Morrison's heroic sacrifice spread across Earth in hours. But mixed with the grief was something new: pride. Humans had stood up to galactic bullies and bloodied their nose at Dr. Morgan, analyzed data from the battle, and made an important discovery. The virus worked better than we hoped, he told President Lewis. We can improve it, make it last longer, affect more ships. More importantly, other alien species had watched the battle. Secret messages began reaching Earth from rebel groups across the galaxy. For the first time in centuries, someone had successfully challenged Zephyrian power. Vextal worked with human scientists to contact these rebel groups. Many species want to fight, she explained, but they need a leader. Someone brave enough to start a real war. President Lewis made a decision that would change galactic history. We cannot wait for the Zephyrians to destroy us piece by piece. If we are going to die, let us die fighting for something important. Dr. Morgan, how long do you need to build a real fleet? Give me 6 months, Alex replied. I can build ships that will surprise them. And I can contact rebel allies across the galaxy, Vextal added. Many species will join us if they believe we can win. As Earth prepared for total war, the Zephyrian Empire made a fatal mistake. Instead of treating humans as a serious threat, they became overconfident. Crixton reported to his superiors that the human problem would be solved soon, but in secret. Bases around Earth's solar system, factories worked day and night building ships, weapons, and armor. Human creativity, combined with alien technology and the determination of an entire species, was creating something the galaxy had never seen before. The war that would decide the future of countless worlds was about to begin. And this time, humanity would not be fighting alone. 6 months after the Battle of Mars, Earth launched the largest military operation in human history. Operation Starbreak would either free the galaxy from Zephyrian rule or end in humanity's complete destruction. Admiral Tony Wright stood on the bridge of the UES Liberator, Earth's new flagship. Around him floated 50 human warships, each one built with lessons learned from previous battles. But the humans were not alone. Ships from 12 different alien species had joined the rebellion. Admiral Wright, this is Commander Zixtel of the Velfari crystal ships, came a voice that sounded like singing bells. Our weapons are charged and ready. Commander Nexgon of the gaseous Nex Primi reporting, added another voice that sounded like wind through caves. Our ships are in position. Dr. Alex Morgan, now serving as the fleet's science advisor, watched his instruments carefully. Admiral, the improved virus is ready. This version will shut down their ships for 15 minutes instead of 3. Wright nodded. He was a quiet man who had commanded submarines before learning to fight in space. Remember the plan, everyone. We hit 3 targets at the same time. If we can destroy their main bases, the Empire will collapse. The Alliance fleet split into 3 groups. Wright led the attack on the military base at Kepler 442. Captain Amy Stevens, promoted after Jake Morrison's sacrifice, commanded the second group attacking the prison worlds. The third group, led by alien rebel commander Fluxstar, would strike at the Zephyrian homeworld itself. Amy, are you ready? Wright asked over the communication system. Captain Stevens sat in the captain's chair of the UES Freedom 2, named after Jake's destroyed ship. Her crew included many survivors from the original Liberty mission. Ready, Admiral. We have some prisoners to rescue. The attack began at exactly 0800 Earth time across 3 star systems. Wright's force hit the Kepler base first. The Zephyrians were expecting an attack, but not one this large or coordinated. Enemy ships approaching, reported Wright's tactical officer. Count is ... 75 Zephyrian vessels. They outnumber us, Wright said calmly. Good. That means more targets. He opened a channel to all allied ships. Remember, we are not just fighting for humanity. We are fighting for every species that wants to be free. Show them what freedom looks like. The battle erupted across the star system. Human ships, fast and unpredictable, darted between the larger alien vessels. Crystal ships from the Velfari fired beams of pure light. The gaseous Nex Primi created energy clouds that confused Zephyrian sensors. Wright watched as his ships executed tactics that no single species could have developed alone. Dr. Morgan, are we in range for the virus? Not yet, Admiral. We need to get closer to their command ship. The fighting was fierce. Human ships exploded in bright flashes. Allied vessels fell to Zephyrian weapons. But for every Allied ship destroyed, 2 Zephyrian ships were disabled or destroyed. Sir, the U-East Defender 3 is requesting permission to make a virus run, reported the communications officer. Wright felt his heart sink. A virus run meant certain death for the ship making the attempt. Granted. Tell them. Tell them Earth will remember their sacrifice. The Defender 3, commanded by Captain Lisa Green, raced toward the Zephyrian flagship. Energy beams tore through space around the small human ship. Just before the ship exploded, Green transmitted the virus into the enemy fleet's computer systems. 75. Zephyrian ships suddenly went dark. Their weapons stopped firing. Their shields collapsed. Their engines shut down. All ships attack now. Wright commanded. The Allied fleet poured weapons fire into the helpless Zephyrian vessels. In 10 minutes of concentrated fire, the entire enemy fleet was destroyed or disabled. Meanwhile, Captain Stevens led her force against the prison worlds, where Jake Morrison and thousands of other prisoners were being held. Her ships included the U-East Revenge, commanded by Ben Tucker, and the U-East Hope with Ryan Cole as chief engineer. "Ben, take your squadron and hit the orbital defenses," Stevens ordered. "Ryan, keep our engines running hot. We are going to need speed today." The prison world was heavily defended, but Stevens had an advantage. Vextal and other escaped prisoners had provided detailed maps of the facility's weaknesses. "There," Stevens pointed at her tactical display. "The main prison complex has weak shields on the north side. If we can get through there, we can rescue everyone." The battle above the prison world was different from the space battle. Here, the goal was not to destroy everything, but to save lives. Human ships had to be precise, hitting only military targets while avoiding prisoner areas. Dr. Parker, now serving as Stevens' science officer, worked frantically to break the prison's computer codes. "Amy, I am into their systems. I can open all the cell doors in 30 seconds. "Do it," Stevens ordered. Across the prison complex, thousands of cell doors opened simultaneously. Prisoners from dozens of different worlds poured into corridors, overwhelming their guards. Many prisoners had been waiting years for this moment. "This is Captain Stevens to all prisoners." Amy broadcast on all frequencies. "Head for the main hangar. We are here to take you home." In the third part of the attack, alien rebel commander Fluxstar led the most dangerous mission of all, a direct assault on the Zephyrian homeworld. His fleet included the UE's Vengeance, commanded by Captain Paul Jackson, the former Mars colony director who had volunteered for this suicide mission. "Human Paul, are you certain about this?" Fluxstar asked over the communication link. His species looked like living metal, and his voice sounded like grinding gears. "Commander, they destroyed my colony and killed 3,000 of my people," Jackson replied. "I am very certain." The Zephyrian homeworld was the most heavily defended planet in the galaxy. Massive space stations surrounded it like metal moons. Hundreds of warships patrolled the system. Energy shields protected the planet itself. But the rebels had one advantage: surprise. The Zephyrians never believed anyone would be crazy enough to attack their home directly. "Remember," Fluxstar broadcast to all ships, "we are not here to conquer. We are here to send a message. Show them that their victims can fight back." The battle for the Zephyrian homeworld began with the largest space battle in galactic history. Over 300 ships fought among the metal space stations. The sky above the alien planet lit up with weapons fire and explosions. Jackson pushed the UES Vengeance through the battle, heading directly for the largest space station. "This is for Mars colony," he said quietly, then opened his communication system. "All Zephyrian forces, this is Captain Paul Jackson of Earth. You wanted to know how dangerous humans can be. Watch this." The Vengeance rammed directly into the space station's main reactor. The explosion was visible from the planet's surface and destroyed 2 other stations in the blast. On the planet below, Fleet Admiral Crixton watched his defenses crumble. For the first time in his long military career, he felt fear. "How is this possible?" he demanded of his officers. "These are primitive species. They should not be able to coordinate such an attack." "Sir," his communications officer reported with a shaking voice, "we are receiving surrender offers from our forces at Kepler 442. The prison worlds have been liberated. Our entire Third Fleet has been destroyed." Crixton realized that his empire was collapsing. The rebellion had succeeded beyond anyone's imagination. Species that had been slaves for centuries were now fighting as equals alongside the crazy humans. "Send a message to all our forces," Crixton ordered. "Full retreat. Fall back to the core systems." But it was too late. Admiral Wright's victorious fleet had already jumped to the next target. Captain Stevens was liberating prison after prison, freeing millions of enslaved beings. The rebellion was spreading faster than the Zephyrians could respond. In space above the Zephyrian homeworld, Fluxstar received an unexpected message. Rebel Fleet, this is the Zephyrian Planetary Council. We wish to discuss surrender terms. The war that had seemed impossible to win was suddenly over. The Zephyrian Empire, which had ruled through fear for 1,000 years, collapsed in a single day. 3 months later, representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered on a space station orbiting Earth. The Galactic Alliance was being formed, and for the first time in galactic history, it would be based on cooperation instead of conquest. President Lewis stood before the assembly and spoke words that would echo through history. Today, we prove that no species, no matter how powerful, has the right to enslave others. Today, we show that freedom is not just a human idea, but a universal right. Admiral Wright, now promoted to commander of the Alliance fleet, worked with former enemies to build a new kind of military. Zephyrian officers, who had been forced to serve their empire, now volunteered to help protect other species. Dr. Morgan established the Institute for Shared Technology, where humans and aliens worked together to develop new discoveries. The combination of human creativity and alien knowledge led to advances that no single species could have achieved alone. Captain Stevens became Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Alliance. Her ship, the UES Freedom II, became a symbol of hope as it traveled between worlds, helping new species join the Alliance. Even some Zephyrians joined the new order. Crixton himself, after spending time in the same prisons where he had sent others, became an advocate for peaceful exploration. I learned, he told the Alliance Council, that true strength comes from